The following is a presentation from PokerStars.net. Last night on the big game, in one of the craziest hands ever, the loose cannon stayed alive and delivered a blow to Phil Hellmuth's stack.
Hey, all right. Hey. King! Oh, let's go,
While Tony G went after the poker brat's psyche.
You're a disgrace to the game. I want to crush him. I want him to be busted here.
See if the fireworks continue tonight on the big game.
I love this show.
PokerStars.net Big Game.
Welcome to Las Vegas for the newest big game in town. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose, where tonight some of the world's best will battle for over $1 million as play continues in our state-of-the-art poker room.
You heard him say he loves this show. It's no wonder Daniel Negreanu is up $134,000.
The Hall of Famer Doyle Brunson already down almost $150,000 so far.
Phil Locke, the Unabomber. His manifesto reads up $64K.
Tony G, at one point he was up over $100,000. Right now, he is down over 86.
Phil Hellmuth, he's done anything but dodge bullets. He's down 28 large.
And the final player at this table is 35-year-old Ernest Wiggins, who has staked $100,000 as the loose cannon. So far, the D.C. native is up $64,000, and he's standing by with Amanda Leatherman.
Ernest, you're doing pretty good out there, huh?
Yeah, oh, it's feeling good.
What would be your dream situation?
Well, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you right now. Like, I'm riding my dream right now. You know, so I'm riding my roller coaster right now. And like I always say, in order to be a shark, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be with the shark. So like, yeah, we E-doubles, yeah, we good right now. We good.
All right, well, you know what? Good luck out there today, okay?
All right, thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Once again, each loose cannon is staked $100,000 to play. He keeps all winnings above the initial $100,000. And at season's end, the loose cannon who's won the most money earns a North American Poker Tour passport worth $50,000.
Ready to get it all in again?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. You know what? The table's a little cold, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to.
What have you got now?
He's up 64 dimes.
You know, I'm not focusing on that
You're
right
up
now.
4 dimes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more
He said,
focused.
don't count your money till the dealing's done.
You know, there was originally an extra verse to that song about reverse implied odds, but it just wasn't as popular.
Available on the B side. Doyle Brunson raised to 2,300. Tony G, with the Brunson hand, makes the call.
That hand called the Doyle Brunson, also what I call a hot chick with an ugly dude, a 10 with a 2.
Hellmuth calls, E-dub folds.
We know Phil don't have the ace-9.
I think you would have raised that big if you had that.
Referring to last night's fireworks, Kings versus Ace-9.
You would have had a big crack at that
23.
spot.
Cool.
4 players to the flop. King 9 Jack. Action starts with Hellmuth.
Hellmuth's flop top pair.
That's 6,000.
Brunson's flop middle pair. Daniel Negreanu up and down straight draw.
Daniel makes the call.
Now, a lot of players will make a quick call here thinking their hand is best, but with Phil leading out, Daniel calling, Doyle knows his hand could be drawing pretty thin already.
And so he folds. As does Tony G.
Daniel hoping to trap the trapper by making a straight.
6 of hearts on the turn. Hellmuth checks.
If you notice that defeated groan from Hellmuth, you can bet your belly aching Daniel did too.
God dang it. 6.
Instead, it's a 5 of clubs on the river. No 6.
64.
Phil makes it 6,400 to go. Daniel folds.
God, I played that hand so bad. What am I doing? 7 on the river would have been fun. Yeah. 7 or a queen, but I understand.
Phil rakes in a nice pot to get us going.
I mean, that was a bad. I don't like the way I played that.
Well, here are the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. The action pre-flop is pot limit and becomes no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. And every player begins with at least $100K but can rebuy for up to $500,000. Tony G straddling this hand.
Better be than Tony G?
I would have been happy if you won against me.
too.
So action starts on Hellmuth. Gets rid of 7 high.
Everybody's happy. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Come on, Phil. And then
Yeah, you got it like this. If you're happy, if you
you
know it,
clap your hands. You're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and
Your face will really show it.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Well, they know the song.
You drinking Grey Goose too, Phil?
No, I'm on, no. You made her laugh. She's all I'm drinking my 2 drugs. I'm drinking caffeine and sugar.
It's not something I can
No,
lay
I don't even
down.
have sugar. It's just caffeine.
I don't think they'd be winners on the singing bee either. They just completely butchered the lyrics to one of the easiest songs of all time.
Yeah, later on at recess, we're going to play Duck, Duck, Goose. 3 players on the flop, 9-8 deuce. Lock checks top pair. Tony G checks. Daniel checks,
Lock's checking for pot control. No reason to build a huge pot when there are many scare cards that can come on the turn.
which is a queen of clubs. Lock check. Tony G fired 4,000. Daniel folds.
Maybe we'll just call him Tony Gravity because you can let him do the work for you. Always betting with the worst hand.
Phil does make the call, and so we will see a river card. 5 of clubs. Another check by Lock.
Lock still has the best hand, letting Tony bet into him yet again.
It's 15,000 this time. And Phil calls. And sees the good news.
Very nice.
Phil Lock taking an extra second to realize he isn't beaten by Tony G. He's been very content in this game to let Tony bet and look him up.
Phil Lock rakes in a pot of almost $48,000.
If Devilfish was here, he would tell you you should know by now not to bluff the calling stations.
Devilfish is David Ulia, an old school gambler from the UK. He's always got a word of advice for the players at the table, oftentimes unsolicited.
Doyle Brunson straddling from the button this hand.
Of course, having ace of clubs means that I know you don't have the nuts, so it's... Is this the super sleeper?
Super satellite.
A super sleeper is essentially a straddle on the button. Action skips over the button, and they become the last act pre-flop. But it's only live if action folds to you.
Which it does, so it skips Doyle over to Phil Lock, who's looking at Cowboys. And he just limps in.
Phil limps again, continuing his tricky passive play.
Tony G makes the call.
Okay, I'm ready to.
So now the action's back on over to Doyle, and he checks. 6-5-10, a pair of hearts on the board. Check by Phil Lock. Tony G bets 2,000 with a flush draw and a straight draw.
Phil Lock still has the best hand, though Doyle does have an open-ended straight draw.
And so he calls. And Phil Lock raises to 7,800. Tony G calls.
Is it 800?
Phil's hoping to force out some of these draws.
How much more?
7,800 total.
Doyle has a disguise draw. If an 8 or a 3 pills off, he'll make his straight. Be very difficult to tell.
And Doyle does make the call.
Phil probably wasn't expecting this much action with a raise on the flop. He limped with kings. He's hoping he hasn't trapped himself.
The turn card, 10 of diamonds.
This is another scare card for Phil. It's very conceivable that either opponent would have called with top pair.
The Lock has checked. Tony G fires 25,000.
Big overbet, going to look very fishy to Phil.
And Doyle folds. Lock makes the call.
Hard to lay down 2 kings. We know that Tony could be firing with just about any 2 cards.
The river, the ace of spades. Lock checks yet again.
It's another scare card that Lock probably doesn't like. The right size bet from Tony may be able to take this hand away.
Tony checks. Phil Lock shows it.
I can't hit with this zero. It's unbelievable. Can't hit a hand. Well done. She got me good. Oh, she's got me every hand that she got. Well done.
2 kings did duck a bullet that time.
Felt like it. When you guys called, I was like, oh, God, just don't draw a heart. Please, no heart.
Couldn't hit a 4.
Tony G starting to unravel, and Phil Lock has been the beneficiary. If you want to appear on the big game and be a loose cannon, log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. Back with more after this. Welcome back to the PokerStars.net big game.
Phil Lock being on my right is huge for me because I can kind of keep him in check a little bit. Phil Locke is a bit of a wild card. You know, he tells a story and it goes from one place to another. He confuses me just talking.
It's hard to get a handle on Phil, and I think it's important to sense the mood that he's in when you play with him.
Phil Locke may have a wild card personality, but he's been playing like anything but so far this game. He's been playing very passively, made some good reads, and it's worked out to his advantage.
Up 130,000.
He's like a professional poker player now.
I'm also trying to be a TV poker player. That's more fun.
Yeah, you're a professional TV poker player.
I love cards. If you gave me $1 billion, I would play cards. Not as much, but a pretty fair amount.
Same amount, maybe more.
And it would be the same
You'd
stake.
probably just play higher, because why not?
Right. You know, when all the fish dry up, sometimes I sit with the pros just to see how I can do it. You know?
Phil's not kidding. He recently logged a record-setting 115-hour poker session at Bellagio. Woo!
Now Doyle Brunson out of this hand. And another big one for Phil Locke.
Phil continues his passive play.